Hey guys, it's Kenna. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be doing a huge book haul. I've accumulated so many books over the summer. I've literally spent way more money than I should have on books. But there's like 3 stacks right here and we're going to get through them all, and I'm going to show you what all I've bought this summer. Yeah. Really quick, if you hear like music, I literally live next to like 3 college guys and they party literally non-stop, so they always have music blaring, so if you can like faintly hear it, it's them. I can't tell them to stop it because I'm filming. So yeah, and then I literally just heard somebody like screaming. So I live in like a college apartment complex. There's always people yelling, always people partying, so I literally can't help my background noise. But yeah, so let's get into this haul. It's gonna take us quite a while, I think, because I have like so many books right here, but I'm really excited to show them all to you guys. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first book I have is The Shark Club by Ann Kidd Taylor, and this book, I literally bought this book mainly for the cover because it's so cute. I think it's adorable. I love the color of it. I love everything about it. It caught my attention. I bought it in the airport, actually, in an airport bookstore, so it's like overpriced. When I was actually coming back from California with my mom. Not because I needed something to read on the plane because I already had something, but because I wanted another book. But yeah, so basically what The Shark Club is about is this woman named Maeve, who it like starts off with her as a child, and she lives in Florida, and this one day she spends on the beach and she has her first kiss with this boy named Daniel, and then on that same day she's bitten by a shark. And so then it flashes forward to when she's an adult, and she's actually a marine biologist focusing on shark conservation, and she moves back home to Florida, and so it's kind of like she gets stuck in this love triangle between Daniel, her old love, and this new colleague of hers named Nicholas, who actually shows up in her hometown to investigate an illegal shark finning operation. And honestly, it just sounds like super cute, fun summer romance. I love sharks. Sea creatures are literally my favorite animals ever. I love them all. So the fact that it's like a romance about sharks and marine biology, I think is so adorable. And I'm so excited to read this. I've been in the mood for like a romance. I literally just watched To All the Boys I've Ever Loved. So like I've been in the mood for like contemporary kind of like romancy things like that. So I'm really excited to pick this up before I get out of my romance mood, because I usually don't read a lot of romance. So before I get out of my romance mood, I definitely want to read this. The next book is Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And I started this book, actually, I've already read like a third of it maybe. I started this book when I was in Korea, but my friend lent it to me when I was in Korea, and I didn't get to finish it before I left Korea, and I had to give it back to her. So when I got back home to the States, I was immediately like, I have to buy this book to finish it. And I got online and I saw this Bloomsbury Modern Classics edition of it, and I fell in love. This cover, this edition is literally beautiful. It's stunning, okay? It's stunning. The cover itself, the white and blue, I literally love. I mean, it's got like these end pages are gorgeous, like just everything about this. And it's actually got a bunch, you can see it on the back, but it's actually got a bunch more modern classics in the series. It's not a series, but like in the recover editions that they did. So if you're interested in the way this is done, literally so beautiful. I love their art. The Archer is actually their like mascot, but I thought it went so well with Song of Achilles. It's beautiful, and I had to wait on it for like a month to come in because I've been back in the States from Korea for 2 months now, 2.5. But I had to wait for like a month for this to come in because it came from the UK. So they only sell these in the UK, and you have to buy these editions on like Amazon or Book Depository or something like that, you can't buy them directly from Bloomsbury because they won't sell them to the United States. So I had to like find this edition because I loved it so much and get it shipped over here. So, but I finally have my hands on it. I can finally finish it. I'm so excited. I have one series that I'm reading, and then when I get done with that series, I'm literally picking this up to finish it because I love it. I love it. I love the story. I love Greek gods. Oh, I didn't even tell you what it was about. This is basically a retelling of Achilles and Patroclus, and I'm not going to tell you too much, but it's basically a love story between them. And if you don't know who Achilles is, he's the Greek, I think he's a demigod. I don't think he may be a full god, but I think he's a demigod. And his like story is, if you don't know, our Achilles heel, which is the tendon in the back of your heel, that's kind of what he's named after. He's like supposed to be super athletic and he has no weaknesses, but he does have a weakness. That's kind of where his myth comes from, is the Achilles heel and things like that. So it's basically a retelling of those two demigods. And it's a love story, and it's tragic because all things with Greek mythology are tragic. So my friend, when she lent it to me, she's like, cry all the tears because you will. Let it all out. So I'm excited to get in my feels with this one. The next one I'm going to mention super briefly, because it's a book and I have it. It may not be very interesting to you guys, but it's called The Headless Snake by Harry Wagner. And this is actually a book that a customer of mine published. I'm a waitress, for those of you who don't know, and this 95-year-old man used to come up to my bar, because I'm a waitress and a bartender, I do both. He used to come up to my bar all the time and just talk to me, and about his life and just about a bunch of stuff. And he told me that he was writing a book about his life, basically. He was a Vietnam veteran, just a bunch of different things. There's a lot of political aspects of our government that he doesn't agree with, and so he kind of just put that all in to this book. And it's basically an autobiography that he wrote, and he gave me a free copy when I came back from Korea. He signed it for me and everything. So I know it's not very interesting to you guys, but literally it means so much to me that I impacted someone's life just at the place that I work, that he gave me a book that he wrote. So yeah, I just wanted to share it on here, let you guys see it. But yeah, this man, he's been like everywhere. He lived in China for a while. He's worked in so many different places and like has like so much knowledge. Just, it's very cool. So if you guys are kind of interested in autobiographies, maybe like, you know, look this up, give this a read, because he's a great person. And I don't know, I know it would mean a lot for him to get like sales on his book and everything. So if you guys are just interested, look it up. It's on Goodreads. There's a Goodreads entry for it. Read the summary. See if it might be something that would interest you. If not, totally don't read it, because I don't read things that don't interest me. So the next two books, I went to my favorite bookstore ever, Ollie's, which is not a bookstore, but they sell things for very cheap, including books. Their book prices usually range from about like $1.99 to $3.99, which is a steal. Like, it's a steal, guys. So I always buy a few things from there anytime I go. And I bought 2 books this summer from there. The first one I bought is this gorgeous edition of Dante's Inferno, and it's just beautiful. Like, I've always wanted to read this epic, and it's just kind of daunting. I know it's gonna be a read. Like, I'm gonna have to really study it and comprehend what I'm reading, because it won't just come easily. It's not gonna be a very easy read for me. But I thought this edition was literally beautiful. It like reflects light, like the red in it, and it's like a red flame that has quotes from the book, and the cover is like engraved with the words, and the back is also like engraved. Literally beautiful. Like, it's stunning, y'all. The like the end caps have like artwork from the book. Literally, it's beautiful. Okay, and if you don't know what Dante's Inferno is about, it's basically about a man going into hell. It's an epic poem. It's a classic. So yeah, it's an epic poem. It's a classic, and Dante actually wrote 2 other ones, one about heaven, which he called Paradise, and one about purgatory, which, if you don't know what purgatory is, in a lot of religious mythology, it's the in-between place between heaven and hell. So yeah. The next book I picked up at Ollie's is The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. And I'm super excited to read this book. I've seen it around BookTube a bunch, so I haven't really dove into a lot of books that I see really popular on BookTube, but I'm excited for this one. And basically The Diabolic is about this girl named Nemesis, who is a diabolic. And a diabolic is basically a guard, I would say, to another person, usually like one of higher power. And the girl named Nemesis, she is a diabolic for this girl named Sidonia. And basically the synopsis is that Sidonia is kidnapped in a senator's court, and Nemesis basically has to go and find her, but the catch is that Nemesis has to become Sidonia to find her. Sidonia is being held hostage, and it's basically a lot of political intrigue. Nemesis goes into the senator's court and basically has to survive there in ways that she was never trained to. She's basically a trained assassin, and she doesn't know how to be an elite person who navigates with politics and, you know, things like that. So she is like diving into a very different lifestyle, and I love books with political intrigue. I love books with a lot of politics, a lot of otherworldly politics, if that makes sense, like another world with its own politics. So I'm very excited for this. And I believe it's a series. I'm not sure how many books, but I know there is at least 1 or 2 other ones. So yeah. The next 2 stacks of books that I have are Barnes & Noble book hauls, which are weird for me. I usually never buy books from Barnes & Noble just because they're expensive and I don't like to buy books at full price. But I have, and my bank account suffered for it, so here they all are. The first thing I did was raid the Barnes & Noble 3 for 2 table because that is a godsend. And so I have 3 stacks of books. I have 9 books that I picked up from that table. So the first book I picked up was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. And it's a science fiction novel, and basically it's about a man named Jason who wakes up strapped to a gurney, and all of a sudden he realizes that the life that he remembers or has had is not real. He doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have a son, he's not a college professor, he doesn't have the same profession that he thought he did. Basically everything he thought was real in his life when he went to sleep before he woke up was not real. And instead, in this new life, he is a genius who has discovered something amazing. And basically, it is a sci-fi novel about parallel universes. And it's kind of going through this parallel universe where Jason is trying to get back to his wife and son that he has in another universe. And I love anything about parallel universes. I think this is so cool. I love sci-fi. I used to be a science major, but I love sci-fi. I love pseudoscience. I know a lot of like people aren't into pseudoscience, but I love it. So I'm really excited for this one. The next one I got was Men Without Women by Haruki Murakami. And for those of you who don't know, Murakami is my favorite author ever. I would literally die for this man. Literally, like if anybody asked me who my favorite author was, it's literally Haruki Murakami. Actually, in a literature class that I'm taking this semester, our professor asked us who our favorite author was, and this is mine. He is beautiful. He is amazing. His writing is a godsend. He is so talented, and I would suggest picking up any of his books. I'll probably do like some type of video about my favorite authors or my top favorite books from him or something like that, just so I can talk about him more. But basically, Men Without Women is a collection of short stories about men without women. It's about divorced men, men who are single, just different kinds of things and how women affect their lives. And I'm really, really excited to read it because it sounds very, I don't know how to say it. It sounds very like women friendly. Does that make sense? Or it just sounds like it's very uplifting for women, and kind of like, not saying that men are like destitute without women, but it's just like, I think I don't know, it just, I feel like this book is gonna explore like loneliness and couples and friendships and things like that, because I don't think all of them are like love stories. I think there's some friendships in here, some, you know, co-workers, things like that. So it's not just love, it's more of, it's everything. And that's kind of how all of Murakami's books are. They're not love stories. They can have love in there and they can have romance, but that's not everything that they're about. So I love him and I'm excited to read this book. The next book I picked up was The Vegetarian by Han Kang. And this book sounds so strange. I actually remember my grandmother reading this and me asking her if it was good, because the summary really intrigued me. But she said she hated this, which I think I know the reasons she hated it, because I think the reason she picked it up was because she like went through a phase where she was really into animal rights, which I'm not saying that it's like a phase for people and that like I'm very into animal rights and everything, but she went through a very strong veganism phase. She's not a vegan anymore, which is why I call it a phase. But yeah, so I don't want to get into all that, but basically I'm not saying that like being a vegan is a phase or that it's like wrong or anything. Like, that's literally your choice, and like I respect it. I sometimes wish I could do it. My aunt's a vegan, so like sometimes I really want to, because I really, you know, stand strongly with animal rights. But anyway, basically she read this because she thought it was going to be a book about that, and while it is, it's not, if that makes sense. Basically, this book follows a woman named Young-hye. It's a Korean name, so if I pronounce that wrong, I'm really sorry. I take Korean. I'm a Korean minor, but my Korean's not great, and my pronunciation are very Americanized. I have an American accent when I pronounce it, but basically, Young-hye starts having these terrifying nightmares, like very gruesome, very grisly, just super gory and everything. So in order to kind of combat that, she decides to become a vegetarian. And this story is definitely symbolic of something. I just can't put my finger on it, what it is. Because, I feel like this book is more than just about vegetarianism, because as Young-hye, as she starts not eating meat, her husband, her brother-in-law, and her sister all start abusing and torturing her so that she starts eating meat again. And basically the summary says that this is a Kafkaesque novel about control and violence within and around you, and so it's definitely symbolic of more than just vegetarianism. But I'm very excited for it. And if you don't know who Franz Kafka is, which is the Kafkaesque novel, he was a German author who his books were very brutal, and they were very surrealist in their brutality, whereas like this, for example, this is a Kafkaesque novel where it's real, it's something relatable, vegetarianism, but then there's brutality and surrealism that comes with it that's like not relatable, i.e. In this book, Young-hye's family members torturing her because she's a vegetarian. So it's and to go along with that, Franz Kafka actually, his dying wish was to have all his books burned on his deathbed. Like, that's what he wanted when he died, which didn't happen, but that kind of goes to show what kind of books he wrote. So yeah, so anyway, moving along. The next 3 books I bought were something that I was really, really excited to buy, and that is all of Gillian Flynn's books. I literally love Gillian Flynn so much. Like, she's a great author. So I bought all of her books. I'll just go through them like super briefly in case you don't know what they're about. But the first one is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, and I've actually already read this one. I read it a couple years ago in my freshman year of college, and I literally loved it. Like, it's very gritty, and her writing style is very like, it makes your skin crawl, honestly. Like, I remember one thing in this book particularly was that, I remember a few things, but one thing that I'll share with you that's not really a spoiler is the main character's mother would pluck out her, like, her nervous habit was to pluck out her eyelashes. Like, instead of like biting her nails or something, she would pluck out her eyelashes. And that just, like, literally the way she would describe it made my skin crawl. Like, it made me want to crawl out of my own skin. I hated it, but also loved it because it made me feel like that. And like, it's books like that that like actually make me feel like, whether it's like emotions like that where it's like literally makes my skin crawl, or whether it's happy emotions or sad or whatever, just books that bring out that much emotion in me are books that I love. And I love Gillian Flynn for that because that's how she writes. But basically, Sharp Objects is about a woman named Camille. Who is coming back to her hometown to actually investigate the murder of two preteen girls. She's a reporter, and she moves in with her mother, and she's got a younger half-sister and a stepfather, and basically it just goes into this like weird family dynamic that they all have. And I won't share too much because too much will literally give the whole book away, because it is like a mystery kind of. But yeah, it's very gritty, and that's what I love. I love gritty books. I'm also like really excited to see the Netflix or the HBO show that just came out. HBO just turned Sharp Objects into a TV series, and I'm very excited to watch that. So I'm wanting to reread this before I watch it. The next Gillian Flynn book I bought was Dark Places, and this one is about a woman named Libby who, at 7 years old, she witnessed the brutal murder of her mother and two sisters in what they called the Satan sacrifice. So, I mean, the fact that that murder was called that kind of gives away of how brutal it was. And her brother was actually arrested and charged for the crimes. And so, flashes forward to when Libby is an adult, and she is actually contacted by this group of people called the Kill Club who want to investigate that murder and actually want to exonerate her brother. So the book is basically about Libby reliving that and reliving the murder and kind of investigating what happened, and it kind of just goes for there. That's pretty much the premise. And it's kind of a mystery, but like, I feel like with Gillian Flynn's books, it's a mystery wrapped into a whole lot of other stuff. So like with Sharp Objects, the murder of the two preteen girls, and like with this, the murder of Libby's family, it's a murder mystery, but there's so much else in there, which is what I love, because I hate surface level murder mysteries where it's just like the characters really have no complexity. It's just a detective solving a crime, and like, that's okay to an extent, but if you want just like a light murder mystery to read, but she has so much depth in her mysteries, and I love that. And the last one is the classic Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, and I haven't been spoiled for Gone Girl. I have seen a lot of booktubers who refuse to pick this book up because they've been spoiled for Gone Girl, or they've watched the movie and I've seen this on a lot of people's, like, a book I would never read is Gone Girl. Not because it's a bad book. It's wonderful from what I've heard, but just for the simple fact that like it was a movie and it blew up and everyone was giving spoilers, and it was spoiled for a lot of people. I know a lot of people that it was spoiled for who won't read it, but I have not been spoiled for it, and I have always wanted to read this and watch the movie. And basically what it is about this couple named Nick and Amy Doon, and on their 5th wedding anniversary, Amy disappears. And suddenly Nick is put under a microscope, and he's kind of like the town perfect boy. They grew up there, and he was like a football player, like he was Mr. Perfect basically, and he gets put under a microscope and he starts exhibiting some very weird behavior. And basically everyone wants to know what happened to Amy and did Nick do it? And that is all that the summary says. That's all I'm going to say because I don't know very much more, but I'm so excited because I've wanted to read this since it blew up and since it became a movie, and now I finally have it in my hands to read. So the next little like set of 3 that I got, I actually just got today, like a couple hours ago, from Barnes & Noble. And the first one is What Alice Forgot by Leanne Moriarty. I think it's Leanne. Lane? Maybe it's Lane. It's either Lane or Leanne. Leanne Moriarty, I'm not sure. Anyway, basically, this is also, it says right here, it's about to be soon to be a major motion picture. Jennifer Aniston is starring in this. I just learned that today, and I'm so excited because I love Jennifer Aniston. But anyway, basically what Alice Forgot is about a woman named Alice. And basically, it starts off, she's pregnant with a child. She's madly in love with her husband named Nick. She's just got a great life. Like, she's pregnant with their first baby. They're living the married life and they're loving it. And then Alice wakes up on the gym floor. She's hit her head and she comes around and all of a sudden her life has changed and she can't remember the past 10 years. And when she's woken up, she is getting a divorce from Nick. She has 3 kids. Her sister doesn't talk to her anymore. Basically, her life is literally falling apart. And basically, the whole book is Alice trying to piece together the past 10 years that she has forgotten and kind of like save her life. Like, she's trying to figure out why her sister doesn't talk to her anymore and kind of like fix that situation. Nick is divorcing her, and so she's trying to figure out like that and trying to like put together her marriage again. So it's basically like her figuring out what happened to her life and kind of fixing all of that. So I've wanted to read this for a long time, and especially since it's coming out soon-ish as a movie, I definitely want to read it before the movie comes out. So yeah, the next book I got was The Little Bookshop in Paris by Nina George. And this is about a man named Monsieur Perdue. And he is a librarian or a bookshop owner. He's a bookshop owner. He's a bookshop owner. And basically he's kind of like a book doctor. He prescribes books for people based on like what he thinks they need to read. So people will come in who are like upset or sad or whatever, and based on what they need, what he thinks they need, Monsieur Perdue prescribes books for them. And basically it's like he heals all these people, but he himself is being haunted by like stuff in his past and like things that are like that he can't necessarily get over. So he kind of goes on this like self-discovery journey in this book, and that's basically all I know about it. But I just think the idea of like a book doctor is so cute, and I've wanted to read this for a long time. So when I saw it on the like 3 for $2 table, I had to pick it up. I bought The Reincarnation Blues by Michael Port, and literally this cover is so cute. I have a bunch of things to say about this book. For one thing, this cover is literally adorable. I'm in love with it. It's what caught my attention when I saw it. That and the fact that the word reincarnation is on here, because story behind this book, I went on a date with a guy when I was in Korea, and which random thought, if you guys want to know any of my like love stuff that happened while I was in Korea, comment below and maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do like a dating in Korea kind of video, because Korea's wild about their dating culture. But anyway, so I went on a date with this guy and we were talking about books, and I told him about one of my favorite books, which is The Incarnations by Susan Barker, and which, if you haven't read that book, read it. And I told him that reincarnation is one of my favorite things to... He was telling me about this book he read about this man who, basically it's a world where you get 10,000 lives and you get reincarnated after every life. And this is the book that he was telling me about. What Reincarnation Blues is about this man named Milo. And in this world, like I said before, you live 10,000 lives. And Milo is on his 9,995th life. And in this world, you have to reach enlightenment in your lives for your soul to pass on at your 10,000th life, blah, blah, blah. And basically, Milo is constantly falling in love with death, or the like physical embodiment of death. And yeah, it's basically a love story between this boy named Milo and death, and it's got reincarnation in it, and I love reincarnation so much. So that, like, in and of itself, I would read this book because it's reincarnation, but also, like, it may sound cheesy to some people, but I think it sounds cute. It's basically just this guy, Milo, moving through all his lives and his past lives and things, which is the real reason I'm reading this book. I love reincarnation. So if you have any books that have reincarnation in them, please comment below and tell me, because I will take any suggestions. I love reincarnation. The next book I bought was Pillow Thoughts 2, Healing the Heart by Courtney Peppernill. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I picked this book up because it had a jellyfish on the front. As I said previously in this video, I love sea creatures. I love this little jellyfish. She's adorable. She's precious. She's literally holding a heart. Like, anyway, basically this book is it's kind of like a self-help, I think, but more so in the sense of, like, it's a poetry book, and it's got, like, milk and honey vibes. So, it's one of those, I guess you could say. I loved Milk and Honey personally. I have a kind of, like, mini review on it on my channel. If you want to look at it, I believe it's in one of my, like, wrap-ups. But, basically, like, I don't know, I've just been going through a lot lately with moving away from my mom and with school starting back and moving back to the States from Korea. And I've just gone through a lot of, like, loneliness and heartbreak and everything in the past couple months. So I don't know, I just need some healing, and I really want to pick this book up very soon because I feel like I need it, and I hope it does what it claims to do, which is heal the heart. So yeah, like I said, I loved Milk and Honey. It said a lot of things for me. It said a lot of things that I needed to say that I didn't know how to, and it's, like, told me a lot of things that I needed to hear, and I'm hoping I get the same thing from this book too. So, and look at this freaking jellyfish. She's adorable. She's so cute. Okay, and then we're on to the last little bit of the stack. I'm almost done, I promise y'all. The next book I picked up was Flame in the Mist by Renee Aday. I think her name's Aday? Adee? I don't know. I'm always like, when I watch booktube videos, I'm always like, how do they just pronounce authors' names so seamlessly? Because literally, I'm the worst at pronunciation. Like, I'm the worst. Anyway, first of all, this cover is beautiful. As someone who just lived in Korea, I love things that are Asian. That was weird. That's not what I meant to say, but, like, I love the Asian aesthetic. That's not what I want to say either. That makes me sound weird. I don't know. Just it has cherry blossoms, and I love cherry blossoms. Basically, I was there when the cherry blossoms bloomed, and it's beautiful, and it's about a Japanese girl, actually, and I think that's amazing, and I'm all for Asian representation. As someone who just lived in Asia, I love the Asian culture, basically, because I lived in it. That's what I'm trying to say. I love the Asian culture because I lived in it for a while, and this book spoke to me on the shelf, mainly because of the cherry blossoms, but also because of the Asian representation, which is beautiful. Anyway, this book is about a Japanese girl, actually, named Mariko. And I don't really know how to pronounce Japanese names. I don't speak Japanese. But she is she's a samurai's daughter. And basically, as most women were in the past, she was raised to be married. And that is all she is ever going to be, is a wife. Basically, that's her job. And so she is betrothed to someone, but on the way to meet her beloved future husband, her, like, caravan, like her traveling, whatever you call it, the people she's traveling with, her little carriage or whatever, it's attacked. And it's attacked by this convoy of people called the Black Clan, which are a group of bandits that are actually hired to kill her before she meets her future husband. And basically, Mariko escapes. She disguises herself as a boy and basically infiltrates the Black Clan. And the whole thing with Mariko is that she is a very skilled alchemist, and she's got a lot of skills that are not approved of in ladies. And so basically when she infiltrates the Black Clan disguised as a boy, which I love that trope, by the way. Mulan, literally my favorite movie ever. I love that trope. I love the girl disguised as a boy trope. It's amazing. Like guilty trope pleasure. It is mine. I love it. Anyway, so she infiltrates the Black Clan disguised as a boy, and what she finds there is not the revenge she's kind of searching for, but actually like acceptance. And the Black Clan starts like seeing her talents per se, that she has as an alchemist, and like all these skills that she has that are not approved of in a woman, in her, and they start appreciating them. And then she's suddenly like, wait a second, whoa, like these people are appreciating me. And then she falls in love. And that's when her freaking world gets flipped upside down. And y'all, this book has everything for me. It has forbidden love. It has a girl disguised as a boy trope. It has Asian representation. It is beautiful. I hope it doesn't disappoint me. I really hope it doesn't, y'all. Like, I kind of have high standards when it comes to books. I know a lot of readers are like, I'll read anything and I'll find something I like in anything. But like, y'all, I am the worst critic, because if one thing pisses me off, it pisses me off through the whole book. I'm praying to the book gods. I'm praying to Renee at a day, or however you say her name. I'm praying to her, please don't disappoint me, because this book has everything for me. Oh my gosh, I just read the back of this, and she was born in South Korea. I love her. And she lives in North Carolina, which is like 5 hours from me. Oh my gosh, y'all. I don't think she'll disappoint me. I hope she doesn't. She's so cute. She's not gonna disappoint me. I feel it. She's not gonna disappoint me. She knows. She knows what a girl wants, and she is going to provide. Renee is here for me. End of story. The next book I bought, which I won't talk very much about because it's the second book in the series, but is China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan. And it's the second book in the Crazy Rich Asians series, which I am so excited to read. And I haven't watched the movie yet, and I'm kind of mad about it because my favorite actor ever is in it. Not ever, but like he's one of my favorite actors. He's in it, and I'm really excited to watch it, but I want to read at least the first book first before I watch it, and then continue on with the series. But I'm the type of person who marathon series, I guess you would say, but to me it only makes sense to read a series thoroughly. Like it really, I'm gonna put this down because I'm done talking about it, but it really ticks me off when, it doesn't tick me off, but like, I don't understand why some booktubers like don't read series in order. Like, I can understand if a book is not out yet in the series, but if everything is out in the series, I have to read it in order. For one, because I'm a forgetful bitch, and I will forget everything in that book if I read another world before I finish the other one. So yeah, I'm trying to read the whole series together as they should be read. That's why I bought that. And I'm gonna get the third one soon, but anyway. The next book I bought was Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and they had a cover change. Y'all, these covers are speaking to me. They speak to a bitch. Siege and Storm, I don't know if you can see it, it's real tiny. Siege and Storm is beautiful. It's the next one. I really wanted to buy them all, but I knew I was already gonna spend so much money, so I was like, I'm just gonna come back next week and buy the other two. Because my roommate actually read this series and Six of Crows over the summer. She's like, you have to read them. Like, don't read anything else before you read these. I've read other things before I read these. I didn't heed her advice. But I have this. I'm going to read it soon. And the cover change is beautiful. I'm hoping they don't cover change Six of Crows because I actually like the sprayed edges that Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom has. So I'm hoping that those don't go out before I can buy those because I want that edition. I really love those. But these are beautiful. So beautiful. And I don't really know, I don't know how to like describe what these are about to you. But basically, I think they're about this girl named Alina who starts training under this like military regime called the Grisha. And it's got this character named the Darkling in it, which I am into dark and broody boys, so it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Who kind of like trains her in this military regime, and he recognizes these powers that she has and like thinks that she can like summon a force that's gonna like help them destroy these like shadow beings, monsters, things. And basically there's a girl who can kick ass in here that's in the military, and there's a dark and broody boy, and I'm into it. So Shadow and Bone, Lee Bardugo. I've heard she doesn't disappoint. Her book series are probably the ones that I see the most on BookTube. So I'm excited to finally get into the popular BookTube books. And the last book I bought was Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. And this cover is literally gorgeous. It's so beautiful. I bought the hardback, even though I shouldn't have, because it literally put me out $6 when I could have bought the paperback, and you know, would have been the same book, but not the same effect, literally. So when you take, I just like want to show off the cover. I'll probably do like my favorite covers video, because I've seen those go around and they're actually like really cool. But basically you take off the cover and it's got like peak boo-boos. Can you see my eye? And look how fun this is. This is so fun. Ow, I just literally scratched myself. Oh my god, doll. Literally so fun. So fun. So beautiful. I'm gonna put it back on. But basically, if you don't know what this book is, which this is another really popular one that I see going around BookTube, it is about kind of a dystopian end of the world. I think it's a little bit of a love story too, but it is written in documentation format, because the main character is like a hacker. So she's hacking into like these emails and schematics and hospital documents and things like that to basically stop the end of the world, I think is what's going on. It's set in like 2026 or something. So she's like stopping the end of the world. I think there's some kind of invasion, something, there's a lot going on. And basically she's got to do it with her ex-boyfriend. So there's the love story in there. Which I'm not sure if I'm gonna be into that, because I don't know. I've read some books where they're like, he did this bad thing to me, but I'm gonna get back together with him. I don't know. So I'm hoping, I don't know. Like, why did they break up? That's the thing, because if it's a good reason that they broke up, then I don't want them to get back together, because he was a bad person or she was a bad person and he left her because she was a bad person or something. I don't know if I'll necessarily like that trope. Now, I may start reading this and absolutely fall head over heels for that trope. But we'll see. But it's like, she's like, I'll never talk to him again. In the synopsis, like, she's like, the ex-boyfriend that she promised herself she would never talk to again. And I'm like, if he did something that bad that she's never going to talk to him again, I don't really necessarily want to root for them. And I feel like that's the way that it's going. Whatever. I'm excited though, because I've heard really, really, really great things for this. And I think it's going to be kind of like, I'm like trying to balance it on my shoulder and it's really heavy. I think it's going to be kind of like a sci-fi-ish, which I love sci-fi. So we'll see. And it's beautiful. So yeah, but that completes my book haul, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around and seeing all the great books I bought in the summer of 2018. If you have any ideas of videos or anything you would like for me to do, please let me know. Please comment below. Like I mentioned earlier, I went on a date in Korea. If you want to know about Korea, I'll probably do a series anyway. I'll probably do like Korea story times or whatever, because they're fun, and I had a wild time in Korea. Like, I'm not gonna lie, living there was crazy. So yeah, I'll probably do some story times because Korea gave me like a lot of story times. Comment below. Tell me out of these books if you've read any. Yikes, I literally, I need to go. But tell me if you read any of these books and how you felt about them. Don't give me any spoilers. If you give me spoilers, I will literally hunt you down. I hate spoilers, but if you read them, just kind of like thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell me if you like thumbs middle. Did you like them or not? Or just tell me if you read them. If you have any books you want me to read, tell me. You know, just comment below and tell me, and just like talk to me. I'm just kidding. I'm not like gonna be desperate for comments or anything. But yeah, no, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.